When mothers first come to work with me, I often hear a common complaint across the population. Very often, I hear moms say, I don't have enough time to get everything done. And I'm so stressed in my time. Time is so stressful. And they'll sometimes give examples like, I just can't feel present when I'm with my child. I'm trying to play a game, but I have so much on my mind. I'm Dr. Ellen, and I'm going to give you some time relief today. So, time for mothers is not an independent factor. It's often connected and related to stress and boundaries, how we protect and treat our time, and other factors in our life. And what I want to tell you, actually, what mothers who come to me often tell me is that they've gone to time management gurus, the time management experts, and they find that they try to implement something and it doesn't work. Or what happens is they'll implement something and it may help a certain something in time, but it ends up impinging on something else, like a responsibility or their time at home. So when you look at time independently and you don't factor in all of the things you do in motherhood, that's what often happens. You'll help one thing and cause another problem if you don't think about the consequences of the full picture of motherhood. So, one of the things I want to do is reassure you that when you come to my channel, this is a full scope area where you can be sure that we're always thinking of the full view of motherhood. And I may be talking on one topic at a time, but I'm always careful to protect the full view of everything that we do as mothers. Because as I said, a lot of mothers come and tell me they've gone to these time management gurus and it just doesn't work for them. One mother even told me she was trying to implement and utilize a calendar review strategy. She was taking 20 minutes to do a certain task on her calendar, and her baby started crying and needed a diaper change. So your kids don't understand time management guru recommendations. And of course, it transfers also to older kids as well. We want the full scope, the full view. Moms tell me that about marketing and business experts as well. So sometimes mothers go to marketing experts to try to build a business, or to business experts if they're trying to figure out how to get their next promotion or build their path into administration in an organization or a business. And they end up telling me that, they may do one thing at work, but there are consequences at the other end that are negative. And so it's really important to have a full scope area. And I do that when I'm on my videos, when I work with the mothers. So we always look at what are the consequences of what we're doing and how do they relate to the other areas. And again, that is something when we talk about time, I wanted to assure you that this is a full scope area. So let's talk about some specific time management recommendations. And again, the biggest problem, I don't have enough time. And also our time is stressed that we have. So here's one reality is nobody can give you more than 24 hours in a day. What I'd like to do is help you have a better use of the time, make your time that you have less stressed so that it's a better quality of time. You can be more relaxed and deliberate in using your time without being distracted and being stressed, which takes a lot of time and energy in our lives. And also, I want to help you plug up the holes of some common time wasters. How are we wasting time? So first, I want to tell you something important not to do. A lot of mothers tell me that when their child goes to sleep, they stay up till all hours of the night, either trying to get done all the things that they didn't get done during the day, or trying to get a jump start on the next day on getting things done. And those of you who know that I'm really very protective of a mother's downtime, of your time to relax and rest and re-energize and rejuvenate, because that means you can come back the next day and feel comfortable and calm and happy and at ease and comfortable. And that's important. So sleep and rest time is important. So I advise you have your sleep time and you know what it is, and you don't stay up past that to try to get your stressed activities done. I'm, again, really protective of mother's downtime. And we want to get done the things we need to do within our waking hours. So let's talk about a few techniques to save time, to make time less stressed, and to improve the quality of time. And one thing I want to recommend is to look at your transitions. Usually on our calendars, we run from one activity to the other activity to the next activity, and it just builds stress during the day, so that by the end of the day, you're really tired and exhausted. Because again, it's been a stressful day, one activity stressed into the next to the next. And that's really how we build the motherhood stress cycle. It's like the hamster wheel of a whole day stressed and going into the next day stressed. So what I'd like to suggest is you think about your transition points during your day. And a few times during your transition points, instead of hurriedly going from one task to the other, I want you to take a moment, even a minute, and do some deep breathing for a minute, and breathe in and hold your breath a little bit for a few seconds, and then breathe out deeply. And again, breathe in and hold that breath, and then breathe out deeply. And even if you do that for a minute, that helps take you out of the stress cycle. It helps relax your nervous system and your mind, and again, take you out of the stress and bring you into calm. And again, even if you do it for a minute in between your activities, it really can be helpful in building your day and in keeping your day more calm. So that's the first technique. A second time preservation technique I want to share with you is to don't constantly be checking your emails during the day, because when you do that, you're adhering to other people's calendars and other people's agendas. If you're looking to see, oh, who emailed me now? Who do I have to answer? You should control your email flow. So you have a certain number of times during the day that are set when you check your email, and not 100 times a day, but a couple of times where you check your emails. And that's, when you decide, I'm either going to respond now or I'll make a note to respond later. Otherwise, you're really opening your boundaries and letting other people control you. So that's a really important time management technique that I want to share with you, that you control your time, not other people. A third technique I want to share with you is to try to cut and avoid multitasking. So why do we as mothers multitask? I think instinctively we think, I have so much to do, so if I do everything at the same time, I can get more done. But that's just not the way it happens. First of all, the research shows that if you're multitasking, if you're handling a number of things at the same time, you're increasing your stress level. And second, What we call multitasking doesn't really happen that way. Our mind is not on multiple things at the same time. What really happens is what's called sequential tasking, where you go back and forth and you're doing one thing and then the next thing and back to the first thing, and you're going back and forth. And first of all, that's very stressful for the brain because the brain has to go back and forth and handle these things. And when you leave one task, there's really a lag in leaving that behind in time, and it takes the brain a moment to pick up the other technique. And so you end up really losing time by multitasking. It just doesn't accomplish what we think and hope that it does. And the research shows that we tend to make more errors when we're multitasking as well, because we're not staying on track on one technique. By the way, I did do a whole YouTube on multitasking some time back. So you might find it useful to check out that entire video on multitasking. But I did want to remind moms that, again, multitasking doesn't do for us what we really hope and want it to do. And it causes a lot of stress. So the quality of our time is not good. And the research also shows that some mothers say, I'm good at multitasking. And what they really mean is I'm used to multitasking, because the research shows that mothers who say they're good at multitasking actually take more time handling tasks than if they did one single thing, and they make more errors. So even if you think you're good at multitasking or you're used to it, it's really good to get out of the habit. And it is an ingrained habit. So the first step to get out of the habit is to really acknowledge and notice if you find yourself multitasking, to be aware of it and try to let it go, and to just be aware of a single thing that you want to get done. And again, this is an ingrained habit for a lot of people, and sometimes moms want to reach out for help on this. And I do help mothers sometimes get out of the habit of multitasking, because sometimes it can be easy, but sometimes when it's really ingrained, it can be more complicated. So that's what I'm talking about with multitasking. And the third recommendation that I want to make to you is a really important one. And this involves plugging up the holes of how we sometimes, or how we often, waste time. When you're in the stress cycle and you're thinking to yourself, which happens often, I'm so stressed, I don't have enough time, I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done. And again, it's like a hamster wheel for mothers. We're often stressed about time. Well, that takes a lot of time. It really takes a lot of our time away living in the stress cycle. So I really want to recommend to you to get out of that stress cycle, eliminate that stress cycle. And I have a lot of videos about eliminating stress as a mother. And I work with the mothers who come to me in detail about how to do that, because it's so important. It takes so much energy and stamina from us to live in that hamster wheel of stress day to day and week to week. And it really gives back a lot of time when you ditch the stress cycle and you're forgetting about all those stress signals and talk that you give to yourself. It really returns a lot of time, and it plugs up holes of time. I had a mother who I helped and I worked with, and she said that she found that she got so much time back in return that she felt that she could apply for a promotion at her work. And she not only got a promotion, but a significant raise. And she told me it came all from getting out of the stress cycle. So it's really an old model of motherhood that mothers have to live in the stress cycle and the stress mode. And it's always a battle for time. And that's just not the truth anymore. There are so many strategies and processes and methods to help you out of it. So I encourage you, if that's something that you want to do, the first step is to be aware of it and to try to really leave behind the stress. And I do know it is an ingrained habit, and that might be something that you might want to reach out for help. And certainly, if that's something on your agenda that you'd like to take care of, I'd be happy to talk with you and help you build some strategies to help you. Again, because it's such an important area. So, again, when I speak to mothers, we have a full scope view of all the issues going on in your life so that we make sure that the strategies we implement don't have any negative consequences in any other areas of your life. And that's something that I can promise you that if you work with me, will do. But there are also a lot of really good parenting experts out there. So I think the important thing is to find somebody who you feel comfortable with, who resonates with you, who you feel understands the issues that you're dealing with, that you're handling. And I do try to leave a link to my email and my calendar in the description. I do have a busy calendar working with mothers, but I always try to leave some slots open for new cases, for new mothers who I haven't worked with, because I feel that that really is very important. So I do that. And if that's helpful for you, I'd be happy to speak to you about how we can help you handle time better and get out of the stress cycle. So again, we talked about a few strategies today. We talked about transitions. We talked about not being a slave to checking emails on other people's time frames, about protecting your own time frames. We talked about multitasking, and we talked about how to get out of the stress cycle. So I'm wondering, what was your biggest takeaway in this? It would be really important and helpful to me if you can write in the comments, what was your favorite, the most important technique? Was it breathing during the transitions, or multitasking, or really making a deliberate attempt, a deliberate decision to get out of the motherhood stress cycle? And again, I really tell mothers that you really have to make a deliberate decision to get out of the stress cycle, because it's often a habit. And if you do nothing, nothing will change. And if you do nothing, what you're feeling now is what you'll probably feel in 6 months or a year or 2 years. But it's important to take steps. And if you'd like some help, to reach out so that you can build the steps to exiting the stress cycle, to building good time management strategies that help you not only in time, but in the full view of all that you do. So again, I hope that this video was really helpful for you. If it is, I'm going to ask you to click thumbs up, to share this with other mothers who you think would find it helpful. And please subscribe if you'd like, so that you can benefit and you can be aware when I come out with new videos. And I come out with a new video every week. So make sure you check in to the new videos that will be coming out. I did do an entire video on multitasking, so you might want to check that out. And again, I'm looking forward to working together with you soon, and come back and check out the new videos, and feel free to be in touch. Let's talk again soon.